Welcome to Jazz Time. Jazz Time is an online store that buys, sells, and trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. If you do like this watch, click on the link in the description below to buy it at the lowest price anywhere online. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the Rolex Pearlmaster 34 white gold meteorite diamond dial and diamond hour markers. Reference 81299. I'm going to talk to you about the bezel, the dial, the case, the bracelet, the movement, and even though this is a woman's watch, I will try it on and give you my thoughts. So, let's start. This watch is the Rolex Pearlmaster. Now, the Pearlmaster is a very unique line that Rolex made. They started making the Pearlmaster in 1992. Now, it's an offshoot of the Datejust line, and the Datejust line has been around for a very long time. I want to say something like 80 years or even longer, who knows? It's been around for a very long time. It's their most popular and most iconic line. But Rolex did not just make the Datejust line in precious metals all the time, so they decided to make an even more luxurious line. But it was technically an offshoot of the Datejust. So it is an evolved version of the Datejust, and that evolved version became the Pearlmaster, which is an ultra premium different collection. And it looks like exactly what you see here. Now, every single Pearlmaster is made of precious metals. This one happens to be in white gold. They're made in platinum, yellow gold, rose gold, even one with tri-metal. Tri means that they have white gold, yellow gold, and rose gold all in one. It's a little bit hokey if you ask me, but that's just my opinion, okay? But hey, they did it. And they did all sorts of different types of gems on the setting of it. And this was where Rolex really showed the public of what they're capable of. They put many different kinds of gem settings in the bracelet, the bezel, the case, all sorts of crazy stuff with different colors. They made rainbow versions, green, orange, all sorts of crazy combinations because it is their ultra premium version. Now, these watches could start somewhere around 50,000 and are going all the way up to almost 200,000. Some of them were not even on catalog. They were off-catalog versions of it, so it was really where Rolex used their creativity, their expertise, to show what they could actually do. Okay, so that's just a little bit about the Pearlmaster, and interestingly enough, they actually discontinued the Pearlmaster as of 2021, I think, maybe beginning of 2022, so it had about a 20-year run. Now, why exactly did they do that? I'm not quite sure. My guess is probably they'll bring back the Pearlmaster after they revamp it, and they'll bring it back in a year or two or a few years or whatever it is. And they'll do something completely different. It'll be a similar watch to the Pearlmaster, but it'll be that ultra luxurious line of Datejust. Not that the Datejust isn't luxurious, it's already luxurious, but they're going to make it ultra luxurious called the Pearlmaster. Maybe they'll call it something else, or maybe they'll continue with that name. But at any rate, this is the ultra magnificent luxurious line that Rolex is making. Has made. So let's talk about it a bit now. The Pearlmaster is made in size 34 and 39. Interesting size. It's also quite a different size. Usually those are not really common size, especially for a Datejust. In fact, they're not common Datejust sizes at all. The 34 is a bit large for a woman. Generally, a mid-sized woman is 31, so 34 is rather large. But do keep in mind this is a precious metal watch with many gems, diamonds, whatever it's going to be. And so it's kind of okay to make the watch a little bigger. Generally, these are not watches to be worn every day, and for men, they did the same. They made it in a size 39, and keep in mind they did this back in 1992. The largest size was 36. So I think it wasn't until roughly mid-2006 that they came out with a Datejust 41, which was just called the Datejust 2 at the time. So 39 was pretty large when they introduced it. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the case for a bit. Now, the case of this watch is made of white gold, as I mentioned, and Rolex has its own gold foundries where they mix their own gold. So they mix a bunch of different things to give it this color: palladium, platinum, gold, and of course rhodium. And they do that in their own foundries so that the gold has the same consistency, the beautiful luster throughout its entire lifetime and with every watch, and that's what you see right now. By the way, I will also remind you that if you like this watch or you want to buy other watches like it, go to jazztime.com or just click the link in the description below to buy it at the lowest price anywhere online. Now, this watch is a 34mm watch, as I said. So that's from my thumb to my index finger, the 4 o'clock to the 2 o'clock position, the longest distance across the bezel, that is 34mm. It's still a very good size today. In fact, you can still buy these watches at jazztime.com. Not every configuration, it kinda depends. A lot of them are actually gone, but we still have some. If these interest you, check it out on the website. Okay, back to the case now. It's actually very similar to the Oyster case. They can't say it's exactly the Oyster case, but it is very similar. It still has the rounded edges that the Oyster case has, but it doesn't look exactly like the Oyster case to me. Okay, let's see what else is there to talk about. Let's talk about the dial next. Now, this dial is your Meteorite dial. Now, this one is quite special. And why is it so special? Well, for obvious reason, number one is it's made from meteorite. So you can think about this. This watch, or at least part of this watch, was actually in outer space at one moment. Can you believe that? Yeah, literally in outer space. I mean, that's the level that Rolex is taking these watches to. You literally have a portion of outer space in this watch. This was floating around the cosmos somewhere in outer space, and now it's literally on your wrist. And yes, I think that is a very special thing. And now, yes, of course, every meteorite dial is going to be different. Not all of them are going to be the same because they're cut from actual natural occurring meteorites. Now, it also has a diamond dial on these hour markers. So it's no surprise that Rolex is using the highest grade diamonds, natural, flawless, D-color, best diamonds available on the planet. And that's what you see right here. So if you look at this watch and think about it, it's actually quite natural. It's like a vegan watch almost. Like, the gold is mined. It came from the earth. The dial came from outer space. The diamonds have been sitting around for how long? Millions of years, created in the pressure of the earth. And all of it came together to coalesce into this beautiful Pearlmaster. I mean, think about that for a moment. And it's sitting right here on jazztime.com. All you have to do is pay us and you can have it. Incredible. Okay. All right, now look at these hands. Now I want to bring your attention to these hands that are actually made of white gold. Again, pretty darn special. Okay, now let's move on to the bezel. Now the bezel is using these diamonds. Now what I do want to tell you about these diamonds in particular is look at how big they are. They are massive. If you've ever seen what diamond bezels look like on a Datejust, they're small. They're tiny little diamonds, and I think it's not much. It's 1.25 or 1.5 carats, something like that. These are tiny little diamonds. But look how massive the diamonds are on the Pearlmaster. They're huge stones. I mean, in relation to the size of it, they're not massive. They don't overtake and overshadow the watch, but it's just luxurious. It doesn't look gaudy, but it still looks amazing. And actually, for me, I was not a huge fan of the diamond bezel on the Datejust just because I liked the fluted bezel that it always has. But since this is the new luxurious line, the Pearlmaster, it is. And so putting this kind of big, huge diamond bezel, I think it just serves it justice and it makes it really pop. In fact, if it were me, if I were a woman and I was going to buy this, or for my wife or my girlfriend, I would get it on a diamond bezel because it just adds that extra layer of luxuriousness to the watch. Anyways, that is the bezel. And now let's move on down to the bracelet. Now again, the bracelet is the Pearlmaster bracelet. Rolex does not use the Oyster bracelet or the Jubilee or the President on the Pearlmaster. The Pearlmaster has the Pearlmaster bracelet. And what I can tell you about this one, and one of the things that's special about this, is Rolex really thinks about how to integrate the bracelet into the head of the watch. A lot of other companies, let's say for example Patek Philippe, they don't really integrate the bracelet or the strap into the watch. And I gotta say, that's kinda lame. How can you pay $50,000 and they just let you use a standard black crocodile strap? I mean, sorry, but it just doesn't cut it. The watch has to be seen as a whole thing. And if you're going to be seen as a whole thing, it has to be designed as a whole thing. It has to flow. It has to be continuous. It has to be one. It has to be a piece of art, which is what you see here. In fact, this bracelet just flows with the rest of the watch. Again, it's not really using that oyster case, and so they're not using that oyster bracelet. They're using the Pearlmaster case, and so they have to use a Pearlmaster bracelet. And this bracelet, if you can look at it, you can kind of tell, and I can feel it in my hand. This is absolutely flawless. It's silky smooth. Nothing is out of place. It is just absolutely smooth, super comfortable, and very, very smooth. Just look at it. It has 5-piece links across, but it's not like the Jubilee. It has its own character. And what you can see when you open up the clasp, it has a hidden clasp in it. It's a concealed folding crown clasp. It still looks different from the Jubilee or anything else. And so when you close it, this is unmistakably another level. It doesn't look like your standard Jubilee. It's just another level. It doesn't look like the president. So leave it up to Rolex to make this kind of integrated bracelet and just make something completely seamless and unique. So to me, the Pearlmaster is the very top of the line Rolex, and not very many people know about it. I'm not sure why it never caught on, but like I said, they might bring it back. But it is definitely your next level. I would kind of say if these were cars, this would be like your Maybach. Not a lot of people know the Maybach because it is so expensive, and not a lot of people drive it because it's so expensive. But a lot of people, if they see it, they'll be like, wow, this is something else. This is the next level. And this watch is that next level. Moving on, let's talk about the movements. Now, the movement here is a 2-2-3-5 movement. And for the Pearlmaster 39, it's a 3-2-3-5 movement. And I'm not sure that it really matters, but I can tell you that the new Datejusts are using the caliber 2236, which is just a little bit more upgraded. But to be honest, you really can't see it anyways. It's covered and it's in a closed caseback. And they both have a plus or minus to 2 seconds per day. And they have a power reserve of 48 hours. And I think the new 2236 has a power reserve of around 76 hours or 72, but whatever, it really doesn't matter. The movement is good. You can't see it. So there you go. All right, now let me go ahead and try this on. Now, obviously, I'm a man. This is a woman's watch, but you'll get to see how it looks on a wrist. But if you do want to see it on your wrist, you would have to click the link in the description below and buy it at jazztime.com. Okay, so here are my final thoughts. Well, I've kind of been telling you this whole time, and it's pretty much that the Pearlmaster is the king of the heap. It is the absolute pinnacle that Rolex makes. There is nothing higher than the Pearlmaster. Yes, it's an offshoot of the Datejust. It's an evolved line, if you will. And they will make it in many different materials and gems, and there's a lot of different variations of it. And it is very expensive. It is very beautiful. It's luxury. And this particular one, having come from outer space, it has a really interesting history. And Rolex is probably not going to be making any more meteorites for a while. I actually heard they're stopping the Daytona meteorites and many other meteorites, and that's probably because of, my guess, supply, because it's not like you could just get out and get a meteorite anytime you want, or at least a meteorite that fits this. And to me, it's simply a beautiful combination. There's not a lot out there. So if you want to buy this one, go to jazztime.com.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.